Hi guys, I'm Lisa Demery and I'm here today with Indivisible KC and CCO calling our senators regarding the Affordable Care Act and how it's impacted our lives. Me personally, I have three prongs that it has impacted my life. I'm a foster parent. Over the course of 28 years, my husband and I have fostered and adopted. We've fostered 78, we've adopted 8, and Medicaid directly impacts those kids. The first week of foster care is spent at the doctor's office, at the psychiatrist's office, at the hearing audiologist, at the ophthalmologist. All of these things have to be done, and they have to be done immediately so that you know what you're dealing with and you can get these kids that are already damaged the help that they need. Now, without Medicaid, that can't be possible. And, some would say foster parents get paid, use that money. Well, that $420 a month buys groceries. Can you feed your family on $105 a week? Yeah, maybe, but then there's nothing left over. So that's one impact. The other impact that Medicaid has for those kids is a lot of those kids then need those services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, not only at home, but once they get to school, which is another portion of that. Medicaid pays for all of those people in your schools. And if you didn't realize that, wake up, because your paras, your OT, your PT, your speech pathologists, all of those people will lose their job because they won't have any available funding to pay them anymore. The schools are already strapped for cash. They won't be able to afford it. You're creating an economic burden and joblessness, as well as impacting these children. The other portion of Medicaid that it affects that's personal to me is the mental health issues. A lot of these kids have mental health. If you cut mental health, where does that leave them? Kids with post-traumatic stress disorder, kids with reactive attachment disorder, families that need these things and these therapies and whatever in place to just make it through the day some days. And when they get to adulthood, same thing. Those children, I have a 25-year-old who was our never kid. They said, "What are you doing? Why are you adopting this child? She'll never hear, she'll never speak, she'll never potty train, she'll never go to school. She belongs in an institution." And we said, no. Somebody's looking back at us through those big green eyes. We know somebody's in there. We're going to do this. And sure enough, with those supports, that child graduated high school with honors. She's now on her own in the community and is able to be so an independent individual instead of under somebody's thumb or in an institution, because she has the supports in place that are being paid for by Medicaid. Which then brings me to my story. I am a cancer survivor. In 2014, I was diagnosed with late-stage colorectal cancer. My tumor was the size of a grapefruit. I went from diagnosis to treatment in 10 days flat. Now, prior to 2014, my husband and I hadn't been able to afford health insurance because, quite frankly, we were raising 8 kids, and their insurance and their needs came first. But with the ACA, we were able to get rates instead of $1,700 to $1,700 to $1,800 a month, of $564, which was much more manageable for our family of 2 incomes. So we got health care coverage, and thank God we did, because 8 months later, I was given that catastrophic diagnosis. Lost my word for a second. But beyond that, I went from diagnosis to treatment in 10 days. I was able to assemble a team. I've had 10 surgeries. I've had 4 rounds of single chemo. I'm currently in a double round of chemo. I take maintenance pills when I'm not in the full-blown chemo. 21 of 30 days a month, I take chemotherapy for the rest of my life, because I also have something called Lynch syndrome, which means it's not a matter of if I die from cancer, it's a matter of when will I die from cancer. But because I have health care, because I'm able to get the medications and the treatments that I needed, my life is prolonged. And one of those medications alone, before I get to any of the others copay or any doctor copays, is $78,000 a year. So we went up in children, down one income, and $78,000 a year just isn't in our budget. It's just not, let alone the doctor's visits and those types of things, And these guys sitting here next to me, I got to see their 6 siblings graduate from high school. I think I deserve the chance to see them graduate as well. And that's what the ACA does for me. It gives me the ability to live every day of my life for my children. Thank you so much. Have a great day.